Hello, hello. How's it going, all of you beautiful people around the world? My name is Ryan, aka Blackbeard TCG. What you guys see here on the screen is some gameplay of pure purple Luffy. So I will have a couple of gameplays here that I will talk about. Still trying to fine tune my list for purple Luffy here, so I will be sharing that with you guys. But the whole idea of purple Luffy is to ramp and to ramp very quickly. So as you can see here, I'm playing some interesting stuff. As you guys can see, the 10 cost Joy Boy, the gear 5th Luffy here, 10 cost 12k power here. And yeah, my goal is to just turbo out big bodies as soon as humanly possible. So as you can see here, let's look at turn 2. You can already see that I have 7 Dawn entering my 8 Dawn, actually, using my leader ability, entering my 3rd turn. I have 8 Dawn. It's absolutely insane. So how do I do that? Obviously using leader ability twice, using Hawkins to continue to ramp. And now I have so many options here. I can play Kaido to continue to further my ramp. I can play Magellan to try to stunt my opponent. I have many different options I can do here, right? So I opt to play the Kaido here and just start to be a little bit more offensive, trying to attack into my opponent. The reason why I decided to play this Kaido is because I wanted to have that extra Dawn. Now, in hindsight, probably I shouldn't, because I kind of was thinking like, oh, maybe I should keep a Dawn open for Thunder Bagua and instead just play my Magellan, because I could always get that Dawn back the following turn by playing the 8 cost Kaido then and getting 1 Dawn. So I really wouldn't be behind, but ultimately I think it's fine. I'm completely fine taking the hit here. So as you can see, turn 4, I'm fully maxed out on Dawn, and now Kid comes out. And I made a video talking about how OP this card is. It's a new boogeyman. We swing here with 9 cost Kaido. He takes the hit. I attach 1 Dawn to my Luffy here. We're going to swing for 7 here. And here, I believe I actually could have swung with 8. Actually swinging with 8 would have been the right play here. And then I would have been able to kill the Borsalino, because the Kaido, I forgot the Kaido was going to give me 1 extra Dawn, which would have allowed my Thunder Bago to be live. So the right play there, that was a misplay. I have no problem showing my misplays. I'm not the best player. I can learn. But I identified my mistake. But I definitely should have attached 1 more Dawn there to the Luffy. It would have been just enough for him to have to discard 2 cards to keep that Borsalino alive. But you know what? It's fine, because our leader's at 6k now, so it's very annoying. He does hit us with the Isho, so we have to ditch 2 cards from our hand, and he's not going to be able to swing into us. He forgot that 7 cost Kid is absolutely broken, and we're actually a 6k leader. So we're still playing with 10 Dawn. We're just perpetually at 10 Dawn. And guess what I do? I play another 7 cost Kid. I swing with my other kid, use that ability, so now my leader is a natural 7k until, well, I say natural, but it's actually steroided up, 7k leader. So I swing with 8 here, and I know he has a ton of cards in his hand, but like, look at the game state right now, right? Look at my board. I have a 7k leader on offense and defense. I have a Thunder Bago in hand, right? So keep in mind, I'm 7k. If I Thunder Bago, I get plus 4,000 on that, right? Like, the defense is just immense. I attach 2 Dawn here so I don't make the mistake. So now I have a huge swing here. And then now I end my turn. Kaido gives me another Dawn. I'm sitting at 7k. I know I got counters in my hand and all that stuff. So I know at this point in time, I don't think that this Sakazuki is playing any rush. So there's absolutely no way I die this turn. And because I know that there's no way I die this turn, I 100% win this turn, unless he just loads up on a shit ton of blockers, right? He could be playing for Koru. He could be playing more Borsalinos and things like that. If those things hit the board, then yeah, I'm probably not killing him this turn. But that's just something I would have to deal with. So what does he decide to do here next? He attached 1 Dawn to Isho, minus 3 cost against everything on board. Of course, he could then use Kuzan to further reduce the cost of things and then try to KO something that way with some of his tools. But then he just goes ahead and scoops. So let's go over to the next game. So this game is quite interesting. It was a super quick one. Just thought I would show you guys this real quick. As you can see, don't have the greatest of hands. We're going up against Corazon, which is fine. Don't have any early plays, even after pulling life. So I'm just like, okay, let me play the heat. Obviously Sugar's on board, so Sugar's gonna rest the heat, but that's fine. I go for the attack, get the hit off, because he decides to block the Sugar, and that's actually such an annoying combo, because like Sugar can continuously rest stuff. But as you can see, turn 3, I am now at 7 Dawn. Go ahead and play my promo Uta. That boosts me up to 8 Dawn turn 3. Now I'm gonna try to KO the Sugar here. which I believe it does, and I'm chilling because now I got a Uta 5 cost 6k body, which is a beautiful stat line that we like to have. And next turn I'm going to be at 10 Dawn, so I'm at 10 Dawn one whole turn earlier. And here I'm just cheeky. I'm like, I have so many 2k counters. I just want to keep this on board so I have another attacker to continue to pressure. Because at this point now, he only has 2 Dawn, right? So I'm just like, screw it. I just want to continue to pressure. I'll just save it. So we have another sugar coming on board. I'm just like, oh my god, good grief. So I'm at 10 Dawn here. So Joy Boy Turbo. I believe here I decide to attack. I believe we get a counter out of hand. We do. We get a 2k counter. So I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe all he has is 2k counters, but he decides to take the hit. So now I just play my Joy Boy. Obviously, this is going to get rested by Sugar. And then we just have to pass. So here, looking at the amount of Dawn, I'm like, okay, like, I'm pretty sure he has nothing to kill my Joy Boy unless he has to have like a red rock, right? Red rock to spin it to the bottom of the deck. But most people on turn 4 are not going to have a tool to deal with Joy Boy. So instead, I ended up getting 3,000 worlds on my Uta, which is completely fine. We counter out of that attack, no problem. So here I'm checking my discard pile because I'm like, oh, where did my Uta go? But then I realized that red rock puts it at the bottom and not in the discard pile. I was like, wait, what the heck happened? But it's completely fine because here, like, now I can go nuts, right? I have 3 life. So here I'm just trying to decide, like, do I just go complete face here? Because, like, I can literally just attach a shit ton of Dawn and just swing twice. So here I decide to attack 12k. He takes that hit, and I'm like, do I just load up everything here, or do I play the Kaido? And I'm like, do I even need the extra Dawn? Like, I don't have anything to send Dawn back. So I believe I just say, you know what, screw it, and just load up 15 Dawn onto Luffy here. I said 15 Dawn, 10 Dawn to make him 15k. There we go. That's more accurate. And then I just swing here for 15 to see if I can get a bunch of cards out of life. He has like 5 counters or 5 Dawn up. That's fine. So now he gets 10 cost Luffy. He freezes me. Swings for 5. I go ahead and counter out of that. That's fine. So he lives to fight another day. But look what I draw. I have my Kaido. And so I'm feeling really good. Again, I know I can't die here. Send back 5. Pop 1. Attach 1. Make it 11k. We swing 11. Do we have the game? And I believe we do. Because I believe he just had a bunch of cards without counter. So yeah, deck building. Now we head into the next game. Okay, so in this match, we're going up against Enel, and it's actually quite interesting because this is my first time going up against him. So again, we just have our usual strategy of just trying to ramp as fast as possible. We play our Hawkins here, so we're feeling really good, right? Like, the amount of Dawn that we have going into our next turn, our second turn, is just going to be absolutely cracked. So as you can see, I have a bunch of Joy Boys. Look at all the Dawn I have right here. Look at all of this Dawn I have to play with. I go ahead and attack here for 5k, see if I can get a card out of his hand. And I believe he takes the hit. I don't think he actually discards anything. Yeah, he takes the hit here. And I'm like, okay, let me get my Kaido out so I can keep the ramp going. And yeah, now we're piss chilling, right? I'm feeling really good. Here I would have liked to have a Magellan or something of the sorts, but I'm like, okay, it's fine. So we get swung into 7k here. I go ahead and counter out of this. And again, still no Magellan. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We have big bodies on board. And now we have to deal with Cracker. So I decide to swing 5k here, again, trying to get a card out of hand, but he decides to take it, and I'm just like, what? But then I remember, I'm like, I'm facing Enel, right? Like, I forgot that, like, he can, like, stay alive. So that's something that's annoying. But I go ahead and get my Joy Boy on the board. So now I have Kaido and Joy Boy. It's turn 4, right? Like, this is absolutely nuts. But now I understand the type of build that he's going for with Enel, right? He has Cracker on offense, and then he just has a whole bunch of blockers. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is going to be annoying because I'm not really playing things like King or anything like that in my build. And so here is where I make a huge misplay, I believe. So I draw the Kaido, which is absolutely insane, right? Because I'm like, okay, like, I can do some shenanigans here. So I go ahead, swing 9k first. I want to see if he's going to block. So here's what I'm thinking, right? I'm like, okay, I can try to make him block with one of them. He doesn't, but my idea was try to make him block with one of them. And then I can play Kaido and pop the other blocker and then kill the Cracker, right? That's what I was thinking. So I try to go for the first attack. Here I am going for the second attack. Again, now I get the blocker off. So I'm like, okay, now I can play the Kaido. Now here is where I 100% misplayed. This is 100% my bad. And I realized my mistake the moment that I did it. So I attach one Dawn, trying to go to Cracker here, trying to get him to use the other blocker or a card out of his hand. And so I do get a counter. So I'm like, okay, that's great. And here, I popped the blocker instead of the cracker. Why? Why would I do that when I could just pop the cracker and then swing at lead? And then he would have to kill the blocker anyway. Because that would have been the smart play, because the only way I lose here is if cracker hits face. So cracker gets a double hit, hits face, he loads up Dawn on Enel, and I lose. Like, that's just absolutely ridiculous. I knew the moment I made that mistake, I knew it was over. I knew I was just like GG. Like, I was like, what am I doing? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, because it's sim, the decision's already made, right? Like, it's one of those things in real life where, you know, you're paying more attention to the matchup, you're paying more attention to the game, you're thinking of everything through, everything's fine, right? But when you're playing on sim, you have, like, other windows open, you're watching YouTube videos, whatever, right? Your attention's not always fully on sim. Now, am I making excuses for myself? No, I lost. I misplayed. I 100% deserve to lose that. But it just sucks because, like, in sim, right? Like, it's so easy to just, like, make those stupid mistakes, but I'm like, at least I identified, there we go, my mistake, and that's how I lost. I know I should have won that one, but it's completely fine. As we hop into this game, I mean, it's just absolutely nuts, right? You guys see the power of pure purple Luffy. You guys see the ramp, and more importantly, you guys see the power of 7-cost Kid. As you see here, as my leader is 6,000 power, and again, he has the cracker on board. He has 2 blockers on board, and now he's going to be swinging to my leader. That's 9k to my 6k. I have 4 life, and I'm like, do I want to counter out of this? I have 2k counters. I take the hit, and here's the Thunder Bagua. And I'm like, okay, do I use this? Do I keep it in my hand? I go ahead and use it just so I can have the extra ramp, because now I'm at 9 Dawn. So guess what I decide to do? We pop down that Kaido. We do not make that mistake, and we KO'd the Cracker, okay? So Cracker's gone this time. We swing with our Kid. We send back 1 Dawn to boost up our leader. He decides to take it. We hit Brule in trigger, which is fine. Another blocker comes out, and now he has 3 blockers out and an ability to revive, stay alive to get 1 extra life. We go face here again, and I believe we get a 2k counter out of hand. Yes, we do. And so right now we have 2 big bodies on the board. Our opponent has 1 life and 3 blockers. So here we go. He swings 7. I go ahead and 2k counter. Again, it's really nice being 6k, and we're always going to be 6k for the rest of the game, which is absolutely delicious. And so here I'm just like, okay, I don't really have too many plays, so I play the Uta for the free ramp. If we play the Dawn anyway, so we can go ahead and send 1 back to, again, pump up our leader. Abuse. You guys have just abuse 7-cost Kid, okay? As much as you can. Like, purple is abuse 7-cost Kid deck, okay? No matter what, just do whatever you can. So in trigger, we actually hit the beige, right? The Capone Gang beige that stops you from attacking. So that stops my Kaido, which sucks because I was like, oh my god, I really want to start getting some blockers on board because I know that I have 3 life, but with double hit Cracker, I'm just like, oh my god. So I'm just looking at how many 2k counters he used so far. I'm just like, oh my goodness. So now he has another blocker, guys. Another blocker. So we have to deal with 4 blockers and a Cracker and a leader that can revive. He loads up 5 Dawn here. So 11k double hit. I have to take it. So now it's kind of spoopy, man. It's kind of spoopy. He only goes for 6k here and allows me to live. But I think he's like, okay, I don't need to overextend because I have 4 blockers, right? Like, what is he going to be able to do? So I'm like, okay, let's go 7. Try to get cards out of his hand. I know he has 2 Dawn open, so I'm trying to think, okay, like, what events is he going to have? All of those things. So he swings 7 here. And I don't remember what happens next. I don't remember if he uses an event or if he decides to use one of his blockers. So he decides to use one of his blockers. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I believe from here, I decide to go ahead and just abuse 7-cost Kid again. Because why wouldn't I? I'm just looking at my hand right now. And I'm trying to play back, like, what would I do? So I swing with Kaido here, 10k. Okay, so I think I'm just trying to get a guaranteed blocker out. Okay, so there we go. Then we swing with Kid. Kid swings. We send back the Dawn from Uta. Get our leader back to 6k. And I think we get, yeah, so now he pumps up there. Now we swing 6k again. Okay. So I have 6 Dawn left. And I'm just like, oh, shit. I messed up. Because I was like, oh, I could have attached more Dawn. And I could have played John Bart, but I was just like, okay, I'll pass because I only have 1 life left, and I wanted to have as many counters in my hand, right? And I was like, okay, there's so much, there's so many plays that he could still do here. So he decides to go for the 9-cost Yamato, and the crazy thing is, he ends up scooping here. because at this point it's just math. He won't be able to counter out of it and all of that stuff. So you know, it's just GG if he can't control my board. So that's the game. He decides to play the Yamato. I'm able to win there. Last match here, we go up against red purple Trafalgar Law, and we just continue to do absolutely ridiculous things in terms of rampage. We go ahead and swing for 5k, try to get a life out. And again, it's like just getting that Basil Hawkins and playing that on turn 2 and just really accelerating our ramp. Turn 2, 5 Dawn, heading into the next turn at 7 Dawn is just absolutely stupid because then we have 8 Dawn, right, with our leader ability. So he goes ahead and just swings all 9 to face, and I'm just like, okay, I'll just take it. And that's completely fine. So then he goes ahead and spins back. He uses his leader ability to get his Brook on board. And now I'm just like, okay, literally this guy basically has no Dawn on board. So I'm like, I could continue my ramp, but I'm like, okay, like let's just have some fun. So we go 7 here to face. He decides to take life. And then here I'm like, okay, we could be super annoying. We play the Magellan, send back 1 Dawn. He has to send back 1 Dawn. So he's heading into his next turn with only 2 Dawn. And so I'm like, there's no play that he can make. All he could do is just swing face. So I just counter out, and he keeps a Brook on board. He doesn't swing with it because I guess he doesn't want me to kill it in retaliation because it kind of defeats the purpose of the Brook, right? So at this point, he has 2 Dawn to my 8 Dawn at turn 4. How nutty is that? So here I'm trying to decide, do I want to play the Kaido to continue the rampage, or do I want to just continue to set him back with the Magellan? Because not only does Kaido continue the rampage, but it's a bigger body, right? And I could just keep pressuring him. Or I play the Magellan, and then next turn he only has 3 Dawn, and it continues to set him back. Keep in mind, I also have 3 copies of Thunder Bagui, so I can be super cheeky here in terms of defense. So I start to swing with 6k here. Again, trying to get some cards out of hand. Not really expecting him to take this hit, honestly. I was fishing for a 2k counter here to see if he had it. That was the whole idea of this attack. And so he's thinking. And then I don't remember. Does he take the hit? We go to the counter step, and he does play the 2k counter. So I'm like, okay, nice. That's what I was fishing for. So now I just go for 5k. And then as I'm doing this, I'm like, okay, so I got 2 cards out of hand. I decide to play the Kaido because I'm like, I can play the Kaido. I'm in a really good spot right now because he only has 4 Dawn. All he does is play Beppo, and I'm like, okay, I could take this hit. It's fine because I don't need to ramp anymore. I already have Kaido on board, so I don't need my leader ability anymore. So I'm like, that's completely fine. I'll take the hit. I'm not using my leader ability. And now, again, look at how much Dawn I have to play with. I have so many offensive lines. I have so many defensive lines. I can continue to set him back with Magellan. And what do? I do exactly that. So I go ahead and send back 1 more Dawn. And now I swing with Magellan. I go 6k to face. He takes the hit. I go 6 to face. He takes the hit. I go 9 to face. So he better have 2k counters, boy. You better have 2k counters. He takes the hit. And now I end turn. And it's over, right? I have 3 Thunder Bagua. All I need is 2 of them. And the next turn I just load up Dawn and win. So again, Purple Luffy it's fun. It's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. I definitely need to play test it against the Zoros of the world and the purple green Doflamingos of the world. But with that being said, abuse 7 class kid, my friends. Abuse 7 class kid. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.